The movie begins in a packed Chicago stadium, the air thick with anticipation and disappointment. The Cubs are about to play, but the announcer sounds hopeless. It's been decades since they've won anything meaningful. He even bets against his own team and wins. Meanwhile, miles away, a young boy named Henry Rowengartner races through the streets with his best friends, George and Clark. They're baseball-crazy kids, dreaming of glory but living in the shadow of Chicago's endless losing streak. Henry's mom, Mary, catches them before they can sneak off. She's strict but kind, reminding Henry that if he's going to play, he'll have to wash the laundry when he gets back. That day, Henry finally gets his chance on the field. When the coach calls his name, his heart soars. It's his turn to play, but excitement turns to disaster. Running to catch a ball, he crashes into the fence, fumbles the play, and ends up costing his team the game. Defeated, Henry trudges home, where his mom gently asks if he wants to follow in his late father's footsteps as a pitcher, but Henry shakes his head. Baseball feels like nothing but failure. That night, his mom heads out with her new boyfriend, Jack, leaving Henry alone with his disappointment. The next day at school, a girl catches Henry's eye, and his friends egg him on to talk to her, but he's too shy. Later, during gym class, things take another bad turn. A classmate mocks him and hurls a baseball his way. Henry tries to catch it, but trips over another ball and crashes to the ground. Pain shoots through his arm, and just like that, his summer dreams are over. At the hospital, the doctor announces he'll need a cast for 4 months. Henry's heart sinks. 4 months without baseball feels like a lifetime. Time passes. The cast comes off, and as the doctor examines Henry's arm, he notices something strange. The tendons in Henry's shoulder have healed unusually tight, unnaturally tight. During a quick movement test, Henry accidentally snaps his arm down and smacks the doctor in the face with impossible force. A few days later, Mary surprises Henry and his friends with tickets to see their favorite team, the Chicago Cubs. At the stadium, Henry watches his hero, the aging pitcher Chet "Rocket" Steadman, struggle to keep up as the team falls apart once again. The crowd groans. The Cubs management is on edge. Ticket sales are plummeting, and the team's future looks bleak. Then, fate intervenes. A foul ball rockets into the stands, and Henry's friends catch it. They panic, unsure what to do, and shove it into Henry's hands. He winds up, throws it back toward the field, and the ball soars with unbelievable speed, streaking across the sky like a missile. The crowd gasps. The manager can't believe his eyes. Who was that kid? Back home, Henry shows off his arm again. The ball blurs through the air so fast it leaves everyone speechless, even Mary and Jack. Seizing the opportunity, Jack calls one of his contacts and arranges a tryout with the Cubs. When the day comes, the team's coach arrives, expecting a mystery pitcher, not a 12-year-old boy. But Henry's arm doesn't lie. Soon he's in the locker room, surrounded by professional players and staring in awe at his idol, Rocket Steadman, who barely gives him the time of day. Henry's training begins under the bumbling coach Brickma, whose odd methods leave everyone confused. Still, Henry can't hide the pride he feels, putting on that Cubs uniform for the first time. Game day arrives. Rocket starts on the mound but quickly loses control. The fans are restless, the Cubs are falling apart, and the manager makes a desperate call. Send in the kid. Henry steps onto the field to a roaring crowd, nerves buzzing through his veins. The first batter mocks him, calling him Little Leaguer. Henry throws in and gets hit hard. A run scores. He throws again. Another hit. The third time, it looks like another disaster, but through sheer teamwork, the Cubs manage to turn it around and steal the win. Henry's debut might have been rocky, but it sparked something. Hope. Afterward, the coach tells Rocket to mentor the kid. The legend reluctantly agrees. Meanwhile, Henry's fame grows. At school, the girl he likes starts talking to him, impressed by his sudden celebrity. Trying to look cool, he lies and says he owns a boat. Now he just has to build one. Training continues and Rocket slowly warms to the boy. During practice, Henry's fastball stuns even him. Soon it's game time again. The fans chant Henry's name, the cameras flash, and the kid steps up. His first pitch hits a batter, but with Rocket's gruff encouragement, he locks in and dominates the game, striking out one batter after another. The crowd goes wild as the Cubs finally start winning. After the game, Henry discovers his baseball signed by Rocket. It's a small moment, but it means everything. The washed-up veteran finally sees him as a real ballplayer. As the season rolls on, Henry becomes a national sensation. He's on magazine covers, adored by fans, and the Cubs, once the league's joke, are suddenly unstoppable. On one trip, Rocket and Henry sit together on a plane, talking like old friends. Rocket drops the tough act, warning the boy that baseball glory doesn't last forever. When the arm goes, he says, they'll stop calling your name. Henry nods, not realizing yet how true those words will be. Soon the team celebrates another big win at a nightclub. Henry's mom dances with Rocket, while Jack, lurking nearby, seethes with jealousy. Then the team manager corners Jack with a dirty deal. Sell Henry's contract to the Yankees, and they'll both get rich. Jack agrees, plotting behind Mary's back. Later that night, he tricks her into signing some routine papers, effectively selling her son to another team without her knowing. The next day, Henry meets up with his friends, hoping to work on their homemade boat, but his fame has created distance between them. George, angry and hurt, accuses Henry of forgetting choosing who he is, of choosing fame over friendship. Their argument explodes, ending with a fight in silence between them. Meanwhile, Rocket learns that his shoulder injury means his career is finished. The manager benches him permanently. Crushed, he takes Henry out for a drive and gives him heartfelt advice. Don't let this game take everything from you. When the cheering stops, you'll need something real left back home. Henry tries to refuse Jack's demand that he appear in commercials. Jack snaps, grabbing the boy's arm. Henry shouts that he's not his father. Jack spits back cruelly that neither he nor Rocket is, and that Mary doesn't even know who Henry's father is. The argument spirals until Mary bursts in, furious. Jack reveals his betrayal, that he sold Henry to another team, before she slaps him across the face and throws him out of the house for good. Finally, truth comes out. Mary tells Henry that his father left before he was born, that he wasn't the hero Henry imagined. The boy listens quietly, realizing that his mother has been his real hero all along. Soon after, Henry reconciles with his friends. Together, they finish their boat and sail it proudly across the lake, laughing like old times. If you suddenly became world famous at just 12 years old, would you keep chasing the spotlight or walk away to stay true to yourself? Let me know in the comments, because Henry's about to face that exact choice. Back at the stadium, Henry meets with the Cubs owner and announces that this will be his final season. The man respects his decision, but when Henry mentions the attempted Yankees deal, the owner's face hardens. He never approved any trade. Something bigger is going on. Soon, the season's biggest game arrives, the one that could send the Cubs to the playoffs for the first time in forever. Rocket, his shoulder barely holding, takes the mound. The first three batters strike, strike, strike. The crowd erupts. For a moment, Rocket feels young again, but the next inning, his shoulder gives out. The pain is too much. He asks for one last pitch and delivers a perfect throw. The batter hits it, the bat snaps, and the ball rolls back to Rocket. He can't throw, so he runs for the base himself, diving for the out. The stadium explodes in cheers. It's his final play, his legacy. With Rocket done, it's Henry's turn to pitch. He steps up, calm but unsure. The crowd chants his name as he strikes out batter after batter. The Cubs are on fire. But just when it matters most, disaster strikes again. Henry trips over a loose ball, falls on his arm, and suddenly something feels different. The magic is gone. His super throwing power vanished. Panic sets in. Without his legendary fastball, how can he win? Thinking fast, Henry and his teammates come up with clever tricks, hiding the ball, baiting runners off base, and playing with pure heart instead of power. Against all odds, it works. The Cubs claw their way back into the lead. But then comes the final batter, the biggest slugger in the league. The entire season hangs on one last pitch. Henry glances down and notices something written inside his glove, his mother's name. And in that moment, it clicks. It wasn't his father's legacy that made him great. It was hers. Fueled by that realization, Henry winds up and throws. The batter swings and misses. Strike three. The Cubs win. The crowd roars as Henry's teammates lift him into the air. For the first time in generations, the Chicago Cubs are champions. Months later, life returns to normal. Rocket, now retired, becomes the coach of Henry's school baseball team. Under his guidance and Henry's leadership, they win their local championship. As the camera closes in, Henry raises his glove to the sky, the same one bearing his mother's name, a symbol of everything he's learned: heart over fame, family over fortune, and that's how one broken arm turned an ordinary boy into a legend. If you enjoyed this recap, smash that like button, drop a comment about your favorite moment, and don't forget to subscribe for more epic movie stories just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.